just analyze some numbers now. Bajaj Auto just came out with their numbers a while back. Total sales have fallen by 11%, coming in at 2.7 lakh units, while motorcycle sales are also down by about 8%. Rajiv Bajaj, the MD of the company, joins us on the phone line to talk about that. Mr. Bajaj, good morning. This month the numbers will be all over the place because of that massive discount by many of your peers to get rid of their BS3 inventory, etc. But going ahead, what's the trend looking like over the next couple of months?
Good morning. I think on the whole, the second half has been very difficult, compared with the first half. Let me give you some numbers. In the first half, our domestic motorcycle sales were actually up 16%. In fact, all the way up to end of October. Whereas between November and March, they have fallen, and we have ended the year with just plus 5% on the domestic motorcycle front. Similarly, from being up 24% on three-wheeler sales between April and October last year, we have ended up at minus 1%. So, first, due to demonetization, and then more recently, as you said correctly, due to the massive discounts in the marketplace, there has been some impact on retail sales. However, I would like to now believe that that is behind us. And going forward from April, hopefully things should normalize, except that there will be a slight dip in demand thanks to all the preponement in sales last month. But perhaps over this month, things will normalize.
Okay. Morning, Rajiv. Good to have you with us as always.
Thank you.
The Supreme Court order came a little later in the month. Otherwise, in March, did you see any improvement at all?
Not really, Lata. We did not. But it's difficult to say because ever since about the end of January, we have seen discounts surfacing. Yeah. And what started initially as 2,000 to 3,000 rupees a motorcycle built up to 5,000, then 7,000, then almost on a daily basis moving up to 10, 12, 20,000. So it has become very difficult to, in fact, even define what is sales, because most of what will be sales last month is nothing but challan cutting at a dealership. It's not really sale to the end customer. So it would be difficult to hazard a guess, but I'm told that with the limits going away on withdrawal of cash from ATMs, etc., the trade in general is expecting a good April and May, driven also by the marriage season. Yeah. So let's hope for the best.
Okay. Rajiv, good morning. Of course, you'll have maybe slightly more clarity on exports, though, last time you told us that the picture is a bit hazy. But in terms of the next financial year or the new financial year now, any clarity on that?
You're right. Exports, in fact, is a little clearer than before. In fact, in the first half, if I have my numbers right, exports were down. And when I say first half, actually, I'm counting up until the end of September, were down 23%. For the year as a whole, they are down 19%, which means in the second half, we've obviously done better. Particularly so on motorcycles, you see a positive growth in March itself, although three-wheelers continue to remain under pressure, primarily because big markets like Sri Lanka and Egypt continue to remain troubled. Going forward, we are certainly looking forward to significant growth over the last year, especially with motorcycles. For example, I can share with you that in this month, in the month of April, we are hoping to clock something like 140,000 motorcycles and three-wheelers put together. Those are the orders that we have received. That, if I were to simplistically extrapolate to almost 1.6 million vehicles, is significantly better than the run rate we've seen in recent months. So exports is looking more positive, especially for motorcycles.
I know you've never been a fan of this whole discounting and promotion business, but given that so much is happening nowadays, will it be hard for you to hold on to those industry-leading margins of 20.3% that you clocked in the quarter gone by?
Well, frankly, we did not participate in this desperate discounting except for the last 3 days. And frankly, I think that was, let's just say it was greatness thrust upon us, in the sense that when competition is discounting 15,000-20,000 rupees and a customer walks up to my dealership, it becomes very difficult for my dealer to say, I'm sorry, I have nothing to offer you. So I don't think he was trying to sell his stock. He was trying to protect his showroom. But I don't think the impact on Bajaj would be significant at all. It's restricted to a very small number of vehicles over the last 3 days. And in any case, all BS3 stocks are now quote-unquote sold out, and everything we are selling is BS4 at the given prices. So margins per se will not be an issue, but numbers and growth we have to wait and watch.
Okay, let's talk about more pleasant things. Bajaj Dominar, how is that doing, Rajiv?
Dominar has done quite well, thank you. I don't have the exact numbers for March, but certainly somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 basis whatever we could produce. The good news for us is that in just 3 months, Jan, Feb, March, since launch, I think we have exceeded 10,000 units. So now we have to just get to the point where we're doing 10,000 every month. I think this month we also start with exports. So it's looking very good. Thank you.
By when will... Okay, sorry. I just thought, by when will you start making Siddharth Lal sweat?
Siddharth Lal is sitting in cool and crisp London. I don't think he's going to sweat anytime soon.
Yeah, that point. Yeah, I mean, that point is taken. The banter between two of you, I think, I hope one day we, get both of you together and, have a show on, the auto sales and maybe what you two think of each other and your strategies. But
it will be a pleasure.
Okay. Rajiv, a word on three-wheeler sales, because, I think that's the high-margin business for you. And there we have seen a bit of downtick this month, 33% down, in fact.
True. Having said that, as I said, for the first half of last year, we were up 24%. I think it reflects the strength of the portfolio, because in the petrol and alternate fuel portfolio, we continue to be clear market leaders, close to 90% share. We have outstanding products there now that comply with BS4. On the diesel, we did very well with our new products, as also with the introduction of the cargo vehicle over the last year, and we got ourselves into an exceptional situation. So in terms of market share, we improved even in the last quarter. Unfortunately, this industry, like the commercial vehicle industry in general, was really bludgeoned by demonetization. So that's been tough. It's coming back slowly. Having said that, we are somewhat hopeful that the permits will bring through another 20,000-30,000 vehicles this year. So we are cautiously optimistic about that.
Are you entering any new export markets to hedge the kind of fall that we've seen in, some of your traditional markets like Egypt and Nigeria?
Yes, indeed we are. In fact, we just started off in Myanmar. In the last quarter, we got off to a good start. Okay. And in the first half of this year, we will actually deliver on-road vehicles in Malaysia. We will hopefully start up in Thailand. In the last quarter, we also started up with KTM in Indonesia, and that's set, I think, to get ahead quite nicely. So I think, but for Vietnam, which we have not figured out yet, I think by September, you will see Bajaj in all the major ASEAN markets. And I think it's going to do very well for us.
Okay, more power to you, Rajiv. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
And I hope it gets cooler in Pune as well. I mean, I heard that it's 40+ degrees there now. Not as cool as London, perhaps, but I think it should get cooler.
I wanted to add something else on which Rajiv has been very vocal. I just was hoping that FY18 monetizes your P&L better than FY17, Rajiv. Well,
thank you. Thank you both very much, and looking forward to the yoga day in June.
Oh, yes, certainly. We'll do that. June 21st. We look forward to that. Well, as we wind down on Bazaar,